Hello students, this is Kanika. Welcome to my channel Prep Biology. So today we are going to discuss about the process of implantation. Okay, in the previous class we have discussed about the fertilization, and in this class we are going to discuss about the implantation. Now in the previous class we have studied that the males release the sperms, and in the female reproductive system the ovary release the ovum. Now the sperm and ovum fertilize or fuse with each other and form a zygote by the process of fertilization. Now we have a zygote, and the fertilization takes place in the ampulla region of the fallopian tube. So this is the diagram, shows the one side of the female reproductive system, and this is the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube is divided into the three parts: infundibulum, ampulla, and the isthmus. Now in the previous class we have studied that the zygote is formed in the ampulla region of the fallopian tube. Now, for the implantation, the zygote moves towards the uterus of the female through the isthmus. Okay, so now in this class, we are going to discuss about the different events that occurs in the female reproductive system for the implantation process. I hope this is clear to you all. Now, if we see the process of the implantation, it starts with the zygote. Okay, it starts with the zygote. We know that in the ampulla region of the fallopian tube, this is the fallopian tube, this is the uterus, and after the uterus we have the vagina. Okay, now understand it carefully. We have the zygote. The zygote is formed by the fusion of sperm and ovum in the ampulla region of the fallopian tube. Now the zygote will move towards the isthmus part. Okay, so this is the part of the fallopian tube that is called the isthmus. In the isthmus, the different mitotic division occurs. Different mitotic the different mitotic divisions occurs, and that process is called the cleavage process. This is important. When the zygote undergoes different mitotic divisions, and that process is called the cleavage process. By the cleavage of cells, first stage is called the two-celled stage. Okay, in the zygote, the cleavage occurs, or the mitotic divisions occurs. First it will form the two-celled stage. Next, some cleavage occurs, then it will form the four-celled stage. Next cleavage occurs, it will form the eight-celled stage, and the last it will form the 16-celled stage. So when the zygote undergoes the mitotic division and forms 2, 4, 8, 16-celled daughter cells, those daughter cells are called the blastomere. Okay, so this is important. 2, 4, 8, 16 daughter cells are called the blastomere. Okay, so this is important. They are collectively called the blastomere. Now, one more important term here is important, that the 8 to 16, this is the 8 cell stage, and this is the 16 cell stage. The 8 to 16 celled stage, that structure is called the morula. Okay, so 8 to 16 celled stage, that structure forms the morula. That is important. Blastomere is important, morula is important. Now if you see from the zygote, it will move towards the uterus. This is the uterus of the female reproductive system through the isthmus. So these all cleavages occurs in the isthmus part. Okay. So these all cleavages occurs in the isthmus part. Now the 16 after the 16 celled stage, it will transform, the morula will transform into the structure that is called the blastocyst. This is very, very important. Okay. After the 16 celled stage, the morula transform it into the blastocyst structure. So let's study about the structure of the blastocyst. If we see, and largely this is the structure of one blastocyst, and we know that the outermost layer of the ovum or the zygote, that is the zona pellucida. Okay. Inner to zona pellucida, we have different blastomere cells inside it. Okay. So we have different blastomere cells inside it. In the blastocyst, when the blastocyst will form, the blastomere cells moves at the periphery of the structure and form a layer. That layer is called the trophoblast. Okay. The different blastomere cells form a layer. Okay. So that layer is called the trophoblast. And inner to trophoblast, there is a mass of cells that is called the inner cell mass. Okay. So this is the structure of the blastocyst. Okay. This is important. So when the blastocyst reach the uterus part of the female reproductive system, it will attach to the layer of the uterus that is called the endometrium. So the blastocyst will attach to the layer of the uterus that is called the endometrium. So endometrium will hold the blastocyst at the uterus part. Okay. So this is important. Now what happens? The blastocyst embedded in the uterine layer, that is the endometrium layer, and that process is called the implantation. Okay. So this, when the blastocyst embedded in the uterine wall or the uterine layer of the uterus, that is the endometrium, that process is called the implantation. So at the uterus part, the blastocyst embedded in the uterine membrane, and the uterine membrane will divide rapidly and cover the blastocyst. That leads to the pregnancy. So I hope this process of implantation is clear to you all. This structure is very, very important, and where the different these stages occurs, that is also very important. Okay. So this is the process of implantation. I hope this process of implantation is clear to you all. If you like this lecture, like, share and subscribe my lecture or subscribe my channel, that is Prep Biology. Keep studying, study hard, study smart. Thank you so much.